When love knocked on my door. It was a soft spring morning in Boston. The air smelled of blooming flowers and fresh coffee. Emma Collins stood near the window of her small apartment, holding her mug, watching people hurry across the street. She had just moved to this city 3 weeks ago, hoping to start fresh. After leaving behind a job and a life that had left her tired and empty, Emma was 25, simple but beautiful in her own way. Her dark brown hair always fell into messy waves, and her green eyes had a softness that made people instantly feel warm around her. She wasn't looking for anything dramatic. All she wanted was peace, stability, and maybe a little happiness. Her new apartment wasn't fancy. Just a small space on the third floor with creaky floors and a balcony that overlooked a little bakery across the street. But to Emma, it felt like freedom. She had promised herself that she would focus on her career, on herself, and not get distracted by anyone. Little did she know, life had other plans. Every morning, Emma visited the bakery across the street before heading to work. It had become a ritual, the smell of fresh croissants, the warmth of cinnamon rolls, and the quiet charm of the place. On her fourth morning, as she stood in line, she noticed someone. He stood tall, around 6 feet, wearing a navy blue suit that fit him perfectly. His hair was dark and slightly tousled, and his jawline looked as if it had been carved by an artist. But what caught Emma's attention wasn't his looks, it was his smile. A small, polite smile he gave the cashier as he ordered his coffee. When he turned, his eyes met hers. For a second, Emma froze. His eyes were a shade of blue she had never seen before, deep, calm, and yet carrying some hidden storm. He gave her a nod, almost like a silent hello, and she quickly looked away, embarrassed at being caught staring. "Next, please," the cashier called. Emma hurried, ordered her croissant and coffee, and walked out, her heart beating faster than usual. She told herself it was nothing. Just a stranger, just a man in a suit. But for some reason, she couldn't get those blue eyes out of her head. The next morning, it happened again. Same bakery, same man, same blue eyes. This time, he stood right behind her in line. "Busy morning, huh?" His voice was deep, smooth, like velvet. Emma turned slightly, unsure if he was speaking to her.
Yeah.
"Looks like it." He smiled. "They really do make the best coffee here. Worth the wait." Emma gave a small nod, forcing herself to stay calm. "I guess so." She wasn't used to small talk with strangers, especially strangers who looked like they had walked straight out of a movie. When they both got their orders, he held the door open for her. "Have a good day." "You too," she said softly before walking away. And yet, for the rest of the day, she found herself smiling for no reason. By the 5th morning, it no longer felt like a coincidence. They kept running into each other, always at the same bakery, always around the same time. Finally, he extended his hand. "I'm Daniel," he said, that easy smile returning. "Emma," she replied, shaking his hand. His touch was warm, gentle, yet firm enough to leave an impression. "Nice to officially meet you, Emma. So, do you always come here for breakfast?" "Pretty much," she said. "It's kind of my routine now." "Same here," he chuckled. "Though I should probably cut down on the pastries." Emma laughed softly. "Trust me, I've told myself the same thing." Doesn't work. That morning they sat at the same table for the first time, and what was supposed to be a 5-minute coffee run turned into a 20-minute conversation. Daniel was 28, a corporate lawyer who had recently moved back to Boston after working in New York. He loved reading, especially late at night when the world was quiet. He enjoyed traveling, though he admitted work didn't leave him much time for it. Emma shared a little about herself too, her job as a graphic designer, her love for sketching, and her guilty pleasure of baking cookies when she couldn't sleep. For the first time in a long time, Emma felt light. She found herself laughing, listening, opening up in ways she hadn't with anyone new. Days turned into weeks, and soon, coffee with Daniel became the highlight of Emma's mornings. Sometimes, he'd bring her favorite croissant without asking. Other times, she'd surprise him with an extra cookie she had baked the night before. It was small, simple things, but it felt special. One evening, as Emma stood on her balcony sketching the city skyline, She saw Daniel across the street leaving the bakery with a bag in hand. He looked up, noticed her, and waved. She waved back, her cheeks warming without her control. Moments like these began piling up, one after another, creating something Emma couldn't ignore. It was a rainy Friday evening. Emma had forgotten her umbrella at home and stood under the bakery's shade, waiting for the rain to stop. That's when Daniel appeared holding a black umbrella. "Need a rescue?" he asked, smiling. Emma hesitated. "I don't want to bother you." "You're not bothering me. Come on." He stepped closer, and she slipped under the umbrella beside him. For a second, she was hyper-aware of how close they were, the way his shoulder brushed against hers, the warmth of his hand as he held the umbrella steady, the faint scent of his cologne mixing with the rain. They walked together in silence, but it wasn't awkward. It was comforting, natural. When they reached her apartment building, Emma turned to him. "Thank you, Daniel. Really." He gave her a soft look. "Anytime." And in that moment, under the soft rain and the city lights, something shifted between them. A spark, gentle but undeniable. That weekend, Emma couldn't stop thinking about Daniel. His smile, his laugh, the way he had looked at her under the umbrella,